Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamerspro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Yesterday, we stirred up a lot of conversation on the channel because we were reacting to the results of the Olympic gold game of USA versus France. USA was able to beat France yesterday, the day before yesterday, after a historic, classic performance from Stephen Curry, especially in that fourth quarter, where he essentially put Team USA on his back and delivered arguably one of the best performances of his NBA career in front of a crowd of, I believe, 35 million viewers. I think it's the second most viewed game since the 1996 Olympics. That's how many people tuned into that game. So there was a lot at stake, and Stephen Curry and these guys definitely rose to the occasion. But in the preliminary rounds and the bouts leading up to that game, there was this story circulating around the team, and it had to do with one of their all-NBA players in Jayson Tatum not playing any minutes. This was something that a lot of people were up in arms about. You had people like Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith, Kendrick Perkins, Gil Arenas crew, Kenyon Martin, all of these guys, everybody, Jeff Teague's guys, they were all upset at the fact that Steve Kerr and the coaching staff of the Team USA Olympic team were disrespecting Jayson Tatum, right? And it got so bad that in one game, I guess they heard the noise and the chatter coming from, externally, and then they decided to play him for a few minutes to kind of quell some of the complaining, right? But nevertheless, everyone got the sense that he was being disrespected. But in the midst of all of this, the person that we didn't hear from was Jayson Tatum himself, right? We were hearing what other people were saying on his behalf and how upset people were, but we never got a chance to hear what Jayson Tatum thought until today. So this morning, I was doing some research and I came across a Fadeaway World article that was highlighting some comments that Jayson Tatum made in a pretty cryptic tweet that he put up on his Instagram page addressing some of the things that took place during this Olympic run. So I want to get into what this article had to say here. It says Jayson Tatum opens up on a rough personal experience at the 2024 Olympics. Jayson Tatum played a small role in Team USA, bringing home the gold medal from 2024 Paris Olympics. Tatum received 2 DNPs during the tournament and played garbage time minutes in their gold medal clinching win over France. Much has been made out of the Celtics star barely cracking the rotation, with the 2024 champion discussing the same while discussing if he'll participate in the 2028 Olympics. He said, "It was a tough personal experience on the court, but I'm not going to make any decision on emotions. If you ask me right now if I'm going to play in 2028, it's 4 years from now, and I'd have to take my time and think about that. So I'm not going to make any decision based on how this experience was or how I felt individually." A lot of people text me and reached out to me and said, "Make sure this fuels you," which I appreciate. There are a lot of people that care about me. I think the tough part is, yes, you can see things to fuel you, but I'm still human. Part of being in the moment, I've sacrificed and put a lot into this game and work really, really hard. So in the moment, it's tough. You're not necessarily worried about fueling me for November or whatever this season is. But like I said, it's something I'm going to take away from this and learn from this experience. It's definitely challenging and humbling at the same time. And then I want to quickly touch on a post that he posted on his IG. This is via SportsCenter, and it says, I guess he reposted something that somebody said on Twitter. He says, "We will avenge Jayson Tatum," and he posted that on his Twitter. This is what SportsCenter posted there. So what are my thoughts on this? I think that it's time we get into the moment where we start waking some NBA fans up. I think a lot of NBA fans seem to view sports as, oh, well, it's just sports, right? It's just based off of merit and da-da-da-da. And they don't realize how much business and politics, but especially in the Olympics and these global competitions, how much of a role politics plays. Politics plays a significant role in events like the World Cup, in events like the Olympics. It is very, very integral. And if you don't know that, you'll be thinking one thing, but in reality, there's something different that's happening. Politics is the reason that Jaylen Brown didn't make it on the team. And Derek White did, his teammate. Jaylen Brown was the finals MVP. Eastern Conference Finals MVP, a best player, whatever, most valuable player. He couldn't even make it on the roster. If Team USA said they want to send their best player out, best team out there, and they don't include the finals MVP, you already know that politics played a role. And there's a back and forth between him and Grant Hill about that. In the case of Jayson Tatum, look, one can make a succinct argument that Jayson Tatum is America's best player. One can make an argument about that. Now, if you listen to the media, if you listen to the politics surrounding the game, you'll think it's a different thing. But I want to give you guys some information because maybe some people are unaware of this fact. Of all of the American players on this roster, which include LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Bam Adebayo, Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, all of those guys, right? With all of those players on that roster, Jayson Tatum was the only American basketball player in the world. The only American player in the world last season to make the all NBA first team. Let me repeat that. Jayson Tatum was the only NBA player that was American that was good enough to make it on the all first NBA team. All of these other guys I just mentioned, none of them stood a chance to make the all first NBA team. Jayson Tatum did. What does that say? That says that in this current moment in time, if you're looking to assemble a team that can go out there and compete with the world, conventional wisdom will tell you, well, hell, man, we need to get our number one American player on that team. And when we get him on that team, we need to ensure that he plays minutes. But that's the total opposite that happened. Yes, he made it on the team, but he was a total afterthought. And by Team USA doing that, it created a lot of bad blood between some American supporters. You see, some people are like, well, only American supporters, but I'm like, y'all are lost. Y'all are lost. So like, y'all are lost. There were a lot of Americans that were hoping for that team to lose. A lot. Jeff Teague and them, one of them, I think the former owner of Barstools or the current owner of Barstools, there were a lot of people that were upset of the treatment that the Boston Celtics players received, especially given the fact that this was the team that just won the NBA championship in a convincing fashion. And for the two players, the top players on that team, to be disrespected the way that they were by Jaylen Brown not even making it on the roster, and Jayson Tatum being a bench warmer on that roster, it pissed off a lot of people. There were a lot of people that were upset with it. Now, regardless of what Jayson Tatum is saying here, it is something that definitely bothers him. He's a human being, as he said. But I think that a lot of people out there are under this illusion, like, no, KD, no. If you gave Jayson Tatum the platform, he would have did well. The fact of the matter is, Jayson Tatum and his team are so good that we actually look for reasons to not give them any kind of serious credit. The Boston Celtics have been a good team in the Eastern Conference for God knows how many years now. And he's an integral part of that. So for him to not make it, especially in games when they were struggling from defending a three against Serbia, and he's on the bench, a lot of us were sitting here scratching our head like, well, why don't you put him in the game? So to me, I think that this definitely is gonna motivate those guys to annihilate the NBA this coming season, those Boston Celtics players. You better believe. So maybe people will have the laugh now, but next season is not going to be a laughing matter for their opponents. We produced a number of shows that were centered on the results of the Olympic gold medal game between USA, in France. And one of those shows, we discussed the chatter around LeBron James winning the Olympic MVP for the tournament. And a lot of NBA fans were complaining about this and saying that essentially Stephen Curry got robbed. I want to go through some posts that I saw. Here's one from Bleacher Report and House of Highlights. I want to put it up for you now. It says LeBron wins Olympics MVP. Another person said, I'm sorry, but Curry is the MVP. LeBron wouldn't have been in the gold medal this year without Curry. Another person said Curry was Rob Button. If you watch all the games, it's clear that Bron was the best player. Another person said Curry doesn't got Rob Button, whatever. Another person said Jokic got robbed. Another person said whoever's saying Curry is the MVP didn't see all the matches. I want to get to the next post. This one is from SportsCenter. It says King James leads the way. One person said you mean Curry. Another person said this is the time to make it official. Curry is the greatest point guard of all time. Another viewer said Curry deserved this edit. Another person said King Curry, but we get it. Another person said Curry closed the game for sure, but Bron managed it. Salute to Team USA. Another commenter said no, Curry led the way, and it just kept on going on and on. There's so many posts, there's so many comments, literally thousands of comments you can go through, right? And we kind of weighed in on this. So this morning, I woke up and we're just kind of going through the internet looking for what to talk about. Then I came across an article this morning from fadeawayworld.net. And it was highlighting some comments that former NBA player, former All-Star, Stephon Marbury had to make about Stephen Curry not winning the MVP. And the title of the article says, Stephon Marbury says Stephen Curry deserved Olympics MVP over LeBron James. And then I proceeded to read what the article had to say, and more importantly, what Stephon Marbury had to say. And folks, let me just tell you now, Stephon Marbury did not hold back one bit. So let's get into what the article had to say. It says Stephon Marbury, a former NBA player and Team USA member, recently voiced his opinion that Stephen Curry, not LeBron James, deserved the MVP award at the 2024 Paris Olympics. After Team USA secured the gold medal with the victory over France, LeBron was named the tournament's MVP, but Marbury believes the decision was misplaced. Marbury took to Instagram to express his thoughts, stating, "They gave the MVP to the wrong player. Maybe they called out the wrong name by accident. I think we need to try to rewind that moment when Stephen Curry displayed himself as the best shooter who ever touched the ball. In international ball, if you can't shoot, you can't have the ball at the end of the game. I get LeBron is the king to many, but let me say this. When you give him what he doesn't deserve, you basically say that because of what he's done. He should receive such a high honor on the big stage. No, he did not earn it this time." So those were Marbury's comments. What are my thoughts on what Stephon Marbury had to say? First of all, I think it was quite courageous for Stephon Marbury to go out there and say what he had to say, what he truly believed, because I think that the ability of people going out there and actually saying what they think on these issues, I think is slowly fading away. And I think as time goes on, you're going to be hard pressed to find people out there saying what they actually believe on issues like this. What Stephon Marbury is saying, it's not a fringe opinion. It's something that a lot of people feel. Now, some people have been making an argument. Did you watch all of the games? LeBron performed the best. Here's what essentially took place. There were exhibition games. All right, exhibition games that really didn't count. And then there were the actual games that actually mattered, right? Where the elimination games. In the games that actually mattered, where Team USA was in jeopardy of being sent home, you cannot make any argument at all in any of those games that LeBron was the deciding factor in any of those games. You can make an argument for Kevin Durant. You can make an argument for Stephen Curry in multiple games. And as the stage grew bigger, as the stakes got higher, Stephen Curry was the one that elevated his game the most. That is the fact. Stephen Curry was the difference maker in this entire Olympic run for Team USA. That is the fact. And I'll put it to you this way. If you replace Stephen Curry off that team, keep LeBron at his same spot and what he did, and replace Curry with another player, they lose. They lose. That's the fact. Team USA, if it wasn't for Stephen Curry, they would have probably been playing for that bronze medal because they would have probably lost to Serbia. That's the fact in all of this. When it came down to the moment, when the moment was there, Stephen Curry delivered. And it wasn't a fluke thing in 2 consecutive games. Now, there are proponents of LeBron saying that, no, LeBron deserved, he deserved the MVP because just look at his stats. Led the team in assists, I think rebounds and all of that. What they're failing to mention, and again, this goes back to politics, is that LeBron played the most minutes of any player on Team USA. The most minutes. Now, some people say, well, he played the most minutes because they needed him to. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. When you had players like Jayson Tatum that was available, when you had guys like Kevin Durant coming off the bench, they had enough great players that they didn't need him to play all of these minutes. But going into this particular campaign, it was already decided that LeBron was going to win this tournament's MVP. And to be honest with you, this is the first time I'm even hearing of a tournament MVP. I've never heard of a Olympics MVP ever before until this year. Ever before. I've never, ever heard of it until this Olympics. So it's something that essentially they just invented. But if they're going to invent it, then I think that you should give it to the right person. That's the first thing. The second thing is the messaging around LeBron winning this MVP. If you look at a lot of these posts, they're not really giving any credit to all the other guys. Stephen Curry's an afterthought. Kevin Durant in most cases an afterthought. They're making it all about LeBron, which seems to be what they always do. Here's the larger point that I'm getting to, and I hope LeBron fans can understand this. LeBron fans, I understand that you guys love LeBron James. You got people on the internet falling out with their friends because they said LeBron ain't the best player on USA. People losing their minds, crying, and all kind of crazy stuff. What you guys must understand is that when things like this occur, and they've occurred on many different occasions, but when things like this occur, you lose a lot of supporters that were even considering rooting for LeBron. At this present moment in time, the only supporters of LeBron James are LeBron fans and media members. The casual NBA fan is not going to support LeBron James. They're going to support other players, but they're not going to support LeBron. Why? Because of things like this, because of antics, because of the manufactured success, because of all of the help, because of all of the narratives. It turns people off. It turns people off. So for Stephon Marbury to sit down and watch the game, because I know there are probably going to be some NBA players out there that say, oh, well, you didn't play basketball, so you wouldn't understand. Well, Stephon Marbury played basketball. Stephon Marbury played basketball. There's some NBA player, and it turns out that a lot of people agree with Stephon Marbury, and they didn't play in the NBA. They didn't play in the NBA. So it seems like maybe he's on to something. But then again, none of this surprises me because Olympics, especially these Olympics, are all about politics. That's all it has been about. Whenever you have these international, global, organized sporting events, it's all about politics. The Olympics, the World Cup, and on and on and on. And this is just the latest example of it. As you guys know, Team USA just won the Olympic gold. And for the first time, they handed out an Olympics MVP, something that never had existed before. But for this particular Olympics, they did. And they gave the MVP award to LeBron James. Now, what you have to know about LeBron supporters and LeBron fans is that these people are desperately trying to make the GOAT debate between Michael Jordan and LeBron something of substance. So whenever LeBron accomplishes anything at all, they try to use it as a catalyst to then go on to say, well, you see, this is why LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. They tried to do it last year with the in-season tournament when the Lakers won the in-season tournament and LeBron won the in-season tournament MVP. You actually had some of these guys running around the internet talking about, oh, you know, LeBron has won, what is it? He's a 5-time NBA champion and a 5-time finals MVP. They were actually doing that. Believe it or not, they were doing that. Because these people, I've never seen such a desperate fan base like this LeBron James fan base. Kobe fans, we gave up a long time ago. Magic fans probably gave up a long time, but not LeBron. They want so bad, including their leader, so bad to be viewed as better than Michael Jordan. So what happened? This morning, I was listening to a segment from Get Up, and it was featuring Mike Greenberg and Kendrick Perkins. And they were talking about Stephen Curry's performance in the Olympics, especially that gold medal game against France, where Stephen Curry's brilliance was on display for the world to see. So Kendrick Perkins was essentially saying how special Stephen Curry was. That was one of the greatest performances they've ever seen, blah, 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 blah. But inevitably, being the network that ESPN is, they inevitably found a way to segue over to LeBron. And they said, so what do you think this does for LeBron's legacy? And would you believe Kendrick Perkins then sat up there and declared to the world that this puts LeBron James ahead of Michael Jordan as the GOAT. For those of you who don't believe Kendrick Perkins said that, we want to play it for you now, and then we're going to come back and react to this comment. Take a listen to Kendrick Perkins here.
All those guys over the last 5 or 6 years have won the MVP, right? You think about Rudy Gobert winning the Defensive Player of the Year. It was so much pressure on this Team USA to win the gold medal. And Greeny, I mean, they needed it like old people need soft shoes. And I'm talking about a fresh pair of New Balance. That's how bad we needed it as a whole when you talk about Team USA. And for Steph to be missing the entire tournament, except those last 2 games, and that last game against France, and the way he showed up and showed out, the biggest thing, one of the biggest concerns, well, not concerns, one of the biggest things that I said coming into this Olympics is I said we have to knock down shots and have no fear when Steph is here.
And no one has ever done it in the history of the sport quite like he does. There will be plenty of days to debate his place on the all-time list, his place or this moment's place in his career, which has been epic and brilliant, but it certainly adds a layer. And again, I repeat, I think performances in the Olympics now, with no disrespect intended, mean more than they used to, because it used to be a lot easier for these American teams to win than it is now. Very quickly, let me get a take on LeBron. He's the MVP of this. He's now the first player, if I have this right, to win the gold medal in Olympic basketball in 3 different decades. He adds the MVP trophy. It's maybe the only thing he hadn't accomplished in his career. What does this mean for LeBron James?
The greatest of all time. And Greeny, I know you might not like this morning, but he got one up on MJ right now. But LeBron James, he was consistently, since the start of this tournament, the best player on Team USA. Yes, at 39 years of age, but he did it in all fashions. If you wanted him to guard every position on the defensive side of things, he did that. If you wanted him to play the point and get the team orchestrated and make sure guys got the ball when they need it, he did that. If you wanted him to take over 4 quarters throughout the course of this Olympics, he did that. Everything LeBron James did at this age was a beautiful thing to watch in the Olympics, and he's one up on Jordan right now. He's been my GOAT, but every time he gets one up on MJ, because now he has 3 gold medals, MJ has 2. I mean, this is what we watching. He's the most important player in basketball.
So you heard what Kendrick Perkins said. He said that LeBron now has done something that Michael Jordan could never do, and therefore he's the GOAT. Let me ask you guys a question. If there was an Olympic MVP award that was available when Michael Jordan played in those two Olympics in 92 and 96. Are you guys actually sitting up there with a straight face and telling me that Michael Jordan wasn't capable of winning an Olympic MVP? Oh, you would have to be an idiot. You would have to be a flagrant idiot. LeBron fans, there's a word I want to use, but I won't use it. But they're so, I don't want to, it's an S word. And it ends with a P. Starts with an S and it ends with a P. I don't want to use that word because maybe it's too inflammatory. But they say some of the you-know-what stuff you can ever think of. How can you confidently boast about Jordan not being able to win an MVP when when the award was never there? It's like when you guys were hollering about, oh, he won the in-season tournament, whatever it is, MVP. Meanwhile, it was just something that they introduced last season. You see, he did some. You see, what they do is they make it seem like what LeBron just accomplished is something MJ couldn't accomplish if he tried. Instead of saying LeBron just accomplished something that wasn't there for Michael Jordan to accomplish. But okay, fine. Jordan wasn't able to win Olympics MVP. Got you. Why hasn't LeBron been able to three-peat in his career, not even one time? Does that put Michael ahead of LeBron? What about the fact Jordan did it 2 times? Does that put him ahead of LeBron? What about the fact that Jordan only lost one playoff series when he had an all-star teammate, at least one? What about those things? Does it also put him ahead when Jordan won an Olympic gold medal, won a finals MVP, won a regular season MVP, won a scoring title, made an all-first defensive team in the same year, in the same season, multiple times? Not multiple, but multiple times minus the gold medal. Does that do anything for Jordan's legacy? At all? Anything? At all? Of course they don't want to bring up these people are speaking from a place of desperation. And the desperation is palpable. You even have LeBron fans now who you see them having infighting, where one LeBron fan will say, but I don't think LeBron did that well. And then the other LeBron fan will get upset and start fighting with the other one and talking about you're not a devoted LeBron fan. If you're a real LeBron fan, why would you be critical of LeBron James? This is what you see. And then they come here to us talking about, oh, all you do is criticize LeBron. All you do is new Skip Bayless. And I'm asking myself, so if I'm the new Skip Bayless, what is Nick Wright? Because Nick Wright is doing exactly what Skip Bayless did for his career. Troll Michael Jordan. Except he's on the other end of the spectrum. And you guys got a problem with Skip Bayless, but y'all ain't got nothing. You don't see nothing wrong with Nick Wright. I wonder why that is. Skip Bayless was viewed as someone that was toxic to sports media, but Nick Wright seems to get a pass. And now we're back to where we started. This entire thing, the Olympic MVP award, was basically created to promote this narrative that, oh, you see, LeBron did something that Michael Jordan never did. Yes, he did something that Michael Jordan never did, and Jordan did a lot of things that LeBron could never do. Like have a losing record in the finals. Like collapsing in the fight. Jordan could never do that. But I want to leave LeBron fans with a final message. LeBron fans, look, I know you guys are desperate. I know you guys are really desperate. Your king is reaching the end of his career. He's going to retire soon. And a lot of you guys are still worried that the vast majority of NBA fans don't believe that LeBron James is the GOAT. I know a lot of you guys realize now that the only people that think LeBron is the GOAT, or even on MJ's level, is you people and media members. I want to break it to you. This campaign, this war that you guys have been on, you lost it. You lost this war 13 years ago, back in 2011. There's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from that. Jordan is ahead of LeBron in every single way you can imagine it. Even if you put on a basketball game and watch the two of them play, if there were no stats to be accumulated and you just watch them play the game, it is clear that Michael Jordan was head and shoulders above him and everybody else, frankly. So this is their last desperate attempt to try to make this thing a GOAT debate. But what you guys need to understand is the more you put out these ridiculous narratives, the more it turns people off. The more people become anti-LeBron. We just saw the footage of him rejecting this kid who was coming up to him to get an autograph I don't know if the kid tried to touch him or whatever. LeBron is 6'8". 6'8". A small kid is walking up to you to get an autograph. And you're like, stop, 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 stop. Was that necessary? And do you know what LeBron fans did? They do what they always do. They defend it. They defend it. We put up a video on the channel. There are videos I've seen of Kobe Bryant walking somewhere, and there was a bunch of kids, like it was a night, like kind of in the dark, and they were calling him, adults were calling him. Kobe kept on walking, and then they said, Kobe, Kobe. And he said, wait a minute. He looked back and said, wait, there are kids over there? And he left what he was doing to come back and meet the kid. Kobe did that. What LeBron did, I get that maybe you were not in the mood and all of that, but to do that to a little kid, and you got LeBron fans defend because they love Andy. There's nothing LeBron can do wrong in the mind of LeBron fans. Do you know if that was a LeBron fan and LeBron did that to their own kid, they'll be like, but don't you understand the king is tired? Why are you so stupid, son? That's the king. They will take the side of LeBron over their own kids in a moment like that. That was a bad look. But hey, that's y'all man. That's y'all man. And now you got dudes like Kendrick Perkins out here talking about, oh, LeBron the GOAT because he won an award that they just invented this year. This was their plan all along.